This is Jerry Corsi reporting to 1776nation.com on the Sheriff Arpaio investigation, a law enforcement investigation into Barack Obama's eligibility to be president. On July 17th, we held a press conference in Phoenix, and Sheriff Arpaio announced definitively that the birth certificate presented by the White House on July 27, 2011, posted as a PDF computer-generated file on the White House website, is fraudulent. It's a fake. That was a definitive judgment, the final conclusions, and the evidence, I think, is becoming indisputable. Over 2 different computer experts ran over 600 tests each on this argument that optimization produced the effect seen in the Obama birth certificate posted by the White House. It's just not possible. The anomalies on this birth certificate are too great. I mean, you can take the registrar seal and the registrar stamp, which are the 2 items that are supposed to authenticate that document, and just move them all around. You can click them, move them around. They're on their own separate layers. It's a pretty ridiculous document, one that even amateurs have been able to determine is a computer-generated document, not a scan of a paper document, a simple scan, no manipulation. That's what the White House claimed, and it's a lie. The document's a fraudulent document. Secondly, issues came up on the coding of the document. These numbers you see in the penciled in the margins, which are numbers to record the data onto computer systems for the state reporting of birth data and ultimately for federal reporting of birth data. The numbers don't fit the categories and the answers given in the Obama birth certificate, either with regards to the race of the father being African, coded 9, and also the occupation, student at the university, which, by the way, is no classification that would have been accepted in 1961. Just like African is not a race, it's a continent. There's Caucasians in Africa, there's Negroes, there's Chinese. I mean, you name it, there's a variety of different races in Africa, and African does not designate a race. At any rate, this coding, I think, is another smoking gun, and we're in the process of, with both of these analyses, becoming, I think, ironclad, and such that if October Surprise is developing, I think the October Surprise could well be the definitive findings of Sheriff Arpaio's continuing investigation that really will leave no doubt, even to the most dedicated Obama supporters, the Obots who refute everything just to refute it, even if they sound ridiculous in their reputation. It's going to leave no doubt that President Obama's fundamental identity records, including his Social Security number, his Selective Service draft registration card, they're forgeries. And while all the pressing of Mitt Romney to release tax records, the Obama administration continues not to release any fundamental records, no school records, whether Obama was registered as a foreign exchange student, no passport records, no grades. The list goes on and on. Obama is going to hide behind this mask of mainstream media protection, and he thinks it's going to ride him through into re-election. Many people are saying, well, you know, why can't we just go and arrest Obama? Why can't we just demand that a court issue an edict that says he's ineligible? These things take time, and I want to remind people that we are still in the early stages. It's summer. We're dealing with July and August. The election's going to get serious at the end of August when the Republican convention is held, and then at the beginning of September with the Democrats. Until the 2 nominating conventions are held, most Americans aren't paying any attention, or very little attention, to the presidential elections. The attention right now is going on to the Olympics, the end of the baseball season, summer vacations, kids getting ready to go back to school. It'll change after Labor Day. And all the work being done right now, including by Sheriff Arpaio's law enforcement investigating team, is building really for the impact in September and October. So again, I urge everyone to be patient. I think it's still possible that a knockout blow could happen with a court case where a court does demand as a remedy an injunction against the state of Hawaii to open up the original records of President Obama's birth in Hawaii. Let's take a look at the original records and see what the microfilm looks like. That is, turns out to be really the definitive record. And moreover, even if we don't get a court to demand that, in the court of public opinion, again, millions of Americans are watching this issue. With Obama trying to keep this issue, Saul Alinsky tactics, keep it below the radar, not to discourage or discredit anyone who dares talk about the issue. Obama's not giving himself much of an opportunity for direct refutation, and this issue is building underground in a big way. So now there's increasing numbers of Americans who are becoming aware that Obama is not who he says he is. I think the issues that are developing, it's pretty clear that we don't even know who Obama's father is. The INS records, Immigration Naturalization Service records in 1961, which I reported on, indicate that the Immigration Naturalization Service did not believe then that Barack Obama the Kenyan was the father of this child, nor that they were married to Ann Dunham. We thought it was an arranged sham marriage for immigration purposes. If the INS didn't believe it in 1961, I don't think we know who this guy's father is, or even what his legitimate legal name is. Is it Barry Soetoro? Was he adopted in Indonesia? Again, there are many, many missing factual points about the birth story, the nativity story as I like to call it, or the life narrative of Barack Obama. And these are going to be pressed during the election, especially as the economics stay bad. In other words, people are going to say they're not better off 4 years economically than they were 4 years ago. Today, they're just not doing nearly as well. And by the way, who is this guy in the White House anyway? Why is he hiding behind a communist past he won't disclose? Joel Gilbert's movie on Frank Marshall Davis being the father is gaining. We're covering that extensively in WND.com. And I think you're going to see these issues build, even if below the surface, so that Sheriff Arpaio is building a criminal case. And a criminal case now is that a birth certificate has been forged. That means a crime has been committed. As this becomes pressed upon the American people, and remember, September and October is the time to do it. August is still going to be a research month. You're going to find Sheriff Arpaio's group is going to get increasingly closed mouth about the evidence that's been created. It's not going to be released. The Obots are dying to find out what Sheriff Arpaio has. They're going nuts over on various Obot websites, demanding we show this, demanding that the investigation produce another document, this document. I mean, they've lost their minds. Of course, that happened months ago or years ago when they decided they were going to support Obama whether or not the truth was on Obama's side. They were going to keep just vilifying anyone, refuting with arguments where the arguments were logically had any impact or just were arguments thrown up to be smoke screens. That's the typical Obot being Obama robot strategy on various websites. You can see it on various places around the internet. I'm not going to credit them with even mentioning them. You can find them very easily. But I want to conclude this by saying, don't be discouraged. I think the funding given now to 1776 Nation, directly to Sheriff Arpaio's Maricopa County posse, and you can look that up on the website. Make sure you contribute to the posse. Sheriff Arpaio is going to continue this investigation. It's going to go right down to the convention and then beyond to the election. And I think you're going to see continuing developments coming out of the sheriff's investigation. I'm certainly going to be continuing to work with them, reporting on them here on 1776nation.com to the audience of really our subscription and signed up users at my personal website 1776nation.com, as well as on WND.com. where I'm a senior staff reporter. The impact is going to be dramatic. You can be assured that the White House does not want the electorate going into November 2012 talking about the birth certificate, an issue the White House and the Obots have been unable to put to bed. Why? Because Obama continues to hide the original records and lie, with evidence mounting that the birth certificate shown to the public on the White House website is a computer-generated forgery. And as the investigation proceeds, I think the evidence, certainly the evidence that I know is being accumulated by the sheriff's posse, is becoming increasingly indisputable. I'll continue to report on this right up to the election. We'll continue to ask for your support. It's very much appreciated. I can't tell you how much it means for you to be watching this video and engaged. Pass around the links to the video. Pass around the articles that are being written. There are many fighting this battle right now, and I think you're finding a strong unanswered undercurrent saying Barack Obama is a usurper and ineligible for the office. Lied about his fundamental issues as his identity. As I proved when I wrote The Abomination, a dedicated communist in training. Someone who's setting out to wreck the U.S. economy and doing a pretty good job of it. This is an election that we cannot afford to lose. Even if you dislike Mitt Romney, he's not your candidate, not my candidate. We can't afford 4 more years of Barack Obama and have our independence, our freedoms, our Constitution have any semblance of being left. We'll fight Mitt Romney next, but we must make sure Obama suffers a conclusive defeat. So we turn back this communist, radical leftist agenda. The weather underground of Bill Ayers, the socialists, the communists, the anarchists, and have taken over the Democratic Party. And if we allow this to continue, for the freedoms that were established in our Constitution, even our belief to declare, our freedom to declare our belief in God, these fundamental issues, taxation, the elimination of private property, these are the issues that are coming. And we cannot let a usurper, someone who should never have been allowed to run for the office of president in the first place, Barack Obama, continue through a second term. Your support, your involvement, your dedicated activity right now could not be more important. I want to give you my personal thanks for listening to this message, and I look forward to communicating with you on a constant basis from now until the election in November. For 1776 Nation, this is Jerome Corsi, the founder, saying thank you very much, and together we can defeat Barack Obama and turn back this radical leftist socialist tide. Thank you very much.